Joshua 15. The allotment for the tribe of Judah, according to its clans, extended down to the territory of Edom, to the desert of Zin in the extreme south. Their southern boundary started from the bay at the southern end of the Dead Sea, crossed south of Scorpion Pass, continued on to Zin, and went over to the south of Kadesh Barnea. Then it ran past the Hezron up to Adar and curved around to Karka. It then passed along the Asmon and joined the Wadi of Egypt, ending at the Mediterranean Sea. This is their southern boundary. The eastern boundary is the Dead Sea as far as the mouth of the Jordan. The northern boundary started from the Bay of the Sea at the mouth of the Jordan, went up to Beth Hoglan, and continued north of Beth Araba to the stone of Bohan, son of Reuben. The boundary then went up to Dibir from the valley of Akor and turned north to Gilgal, which faces the pass of Adummim south of the gorge. It continued along the waters of En-Shemesh and came out at En-Rogel. Then it ran up to the valley of Ben Hinnom, along the southern slope of the Jebusite city, that is Jerusalem. From there it climbed to the top of the hill west of the Hinnom Valley, at the northern end of the valley of Rephidim. From the hilltop the boundary headed toward the spring of the waters of Nephthah, came out at the town of Mount Ephron, and went down toward Bela, that is Kiriath Jearim. Then it curved westward from Bela to Mount Seir, ran along the northern slope of Mount Jearim, that is Kislon, continued down to Beth Shemesh, and crossed to Timnah. It went to the northern slope of Akron, turned towards Sikron, passed along the Mount Bela, and reached the Jebneel. The boundary ended at the sea. The western boundary is the coastline of the Mediterranean Sea. These are the boundaries around the people of Judah by their clans. In accordance with the Lord's command to him, Joshua gave to Caleb, son of Jephunneh, a portion in Judah, Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron. Arba was the forefather of Anak. From Hebron, Caleb drove out the 3 Anakites, Shishai, Ahiman, and Talmai, the sons of Anak. From there he marched against the people living in Dibir, formerly called Kiriath Sephir. And Caleb said, I will give my daughter Aksah in marriage to the man who attacks and captures Kiriath Sephir. Othniel, son of Kenaz, Caleb's brother, took it, so Caleb gave his daughter Aksah to him in marriage. One day, when she came to Othniel, she urged him to ask her father for a field. When she got up for her donkey, Caleb asked her, What can I do for you? She replied, Do me a special favor. Since you have given me land in the Negev, give me also springs of water. So Caleb gave her the upper and lower springs. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Judah, according to its clans. The southernmost towns of the tribe of Judah in the Negev, toward the boundary of Edom were Kabzeel, Edor, Jagur, Kina, Dimona, Adada, Kadesh, Hazor, Ethna, Ziph, Telem, Beoloth, Hazer, Haratah, Kiriath Hezron, that is a Hazer, Ammon, Shema, Moladah, Hazer, Gadah, Heshmon, Beth Pelet, Hazar, Shoal, Beersheba, Beziophia, Bela, Aim, Ezem, Altola, Kasil, Hormah, Ziklag, Admena, Samsona, Libaoth, Shalem, Ain, Rimmon, a total of 29 towns and their villages. In the western foothills, Ashtael, Zorah, Ashana, Zanoah, Enganim, Tapua, Anam, Jarmuth, Adullam, Soka, Azekah, Shoraim, Adithaim, and Gedera, or Gederathim, 14 towns and their villages. Zinan, Hadishah, Migdal-gad, Dilian, Mizpah, Joktheel, Lachish, Bozkath, Aglon, Kaban, Lamas, Kittilish, Gederath, Beth Dagon, Nema and Makkedah, 16 towns and their villages. Livnah, Ather, Ashan, Iftah, Ashana, Nazib, Keilah, Akzib, and Marishah, 9 towns and their villages. Akron with its surrounding settlements and villages. West of Akron, all that were in the vicinity of Ashdod, together with their villages. Ashdod, its surrounding settlements and villages, and Gaza, its settlements and villages as far as the Wadi of Egypt, and the coastline of the Mediterranean Sea. In the hill country, Shamir, Jatir, Soko, Dana, Kiriath, Sena, that is Debir, Anab, Ashdama, Anim, Gishon, Holon, and Gila, 11 towns and their villages. Arab, Duman, Ashan, Jonim, Beth Tapua, Aphekah, Humta, Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, and Zair, 9 towns and their villages. Maon, Carmel, Zev, Jutta, Jezreel, Jokdeam, Zenoah, Cain, Gibeah, and Timnah, 10 towns and their villages. Halhul, Beth Zur, Gedor, Merath, Beth Anoth, and Eltekon, 6 towns and their villages. Kiriath Baal, that is Kiriath Jearim, and Reba, 2 towns and their villages. In the wilderness, Beth Araba, Midden, Sekeka, Nibshon, the city of Saul, and Engadai, 6 towns and their villages. Judah could not dislodge the Jebusites, who were living in Jerusalem. To this day, the Jebusites live there with the people of Judah. Joshua 16. The allotment for Joseph began at the Jordan, east of the spring of Jericho, and went up from there through the desert into the hill country of Bethel. It went up from Bethel, that is Luz, crossed over to the territory of Archites and Ataroth, descended westward to the territory of the Japhnetites, as far as the region of Lower Beth-horon, and on the Gazar, ending at the Mediterranean Sea. So Manasseh and Ephraim, the descendants of Joseph, received their inheritance. This was the territory of Ephraim according to its clans. The boundary of their inheritance went from Atara Adar in the east to Upper Beth-horon, and continued to the Mediterranean Sea. From Mikmatha on the north it curved eastward to Taina Shelah, passing by it to Genoa on the east. Then it went down from Genoa to Ataroth, and Nara touched Jericho and came out at the Jordan. From Tapua the border went west to the Cana ravine, and ended at the Mediterranean Sea. This was the inheritance of the tribe of Ephraimites according to its clans. It also included all the towns and their villages that were set aside for the Ephraimites within the inheritance of the Manassites. They did not dislodge the Canaanites living in Gezer. To this day, the Canaanites live among the people of Ephraim, but are required to do forced labor. Joshua 17. This was the allotment for the tribe of Manasseh as Joseph's firstborn, that is for Machir, Manasseh's firstborn. Machir was the ancestor of the Gileadites, who had received Gilead and Bashan because the Machirites were great soldiers. So this allotment was for the rest of the people of Manasseh, the clans of Abiezer, Halak, Asiriel, Shechem, Hapher, and Shemitah. These are the other male descendants of Manasseh, son of Joseph, by their clans. Now Zelophehad, son of Hapher, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, had no sons, but only daughters, whose names were Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. They went to Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the leaders, and said, The Lord commanded Moses to give us an inheritance among our relatives. So Joshua gave them an inheritance along with the brothers of their father, according to the Lord's command. Manasseh's share consisted of 10 tracts of land, besides Gilead and Bashan east of the Jordan. Because the daughters of the tribe of Manasseh received an inheritance among the sons, the land of Gilead belonged to the rest of the descendants of Manasseh. The territory of Manasseh extended from Ashar to Mikmetha, east of Shechem. The boundary ran southward from there to include the people living at Tappuah. Manasseh had the land of Tappuah, but Tappuah itself on the boundary of Manasseh belonged to the Ephraimites. Then the boundary continued south to the Cana ravine. There were towns belonging to Ephraim, lying among the towns of Manasseh. But the boundary of Manasseh was the northern side of a ravine and ended at the Mediterranean Sea. On the south, the land belonged to Ephraim, on the north to Manasseh. The territory of Manasseh reached the Mediterranean Sea and bordered Asher on the north and Iscar on the east. Within Iscar and Asher, Manasseh also had Bethshan, Ibleam, and the people of Ador, Endor, Tanakh, and Megiddo, together with their surrounding settlements. The third in the list is Naphath. Yet the Manassites were not able to occupy these towns, for the Canaanites were determined to live in that region. However, when the Israelites grew stronger, they subjected the Canaanites to forced labor, but did not drive them out completely. The people of Joseph said to Joshua, "Why have you given us only one allotment and one portion for an inheritance? We're a numerous people, and the Lord has blessed us abundantly." "If you are so numerous," Joshua answered, "and if the hill country of Ephraim is too small for you, go up into the forest and clear land for yourselves there in the land of the Perizzites and Rephaites." The people of Joseph replied, "The hill country is not enough for us, and all the Canaanites who live in the plain have chariots fitted with iron, both those in Bethshan and its settlement, and those in the valley of Jezreel." But Joshua said to the tribe of Joseph, to Ephraim and Manasseh, "You are numerous and very powerful. You will have not only one allotment, and the forested hill country as well. Cleared it, and its farthest limit will be yours. Though the Canaanites have chariots fitted with iron, and though they are strong, you can drive them out." Amen.